Dan was mid-game when he heard the door to his quarters offer a soft chime, alerting him that he had a visitor. Dan paused his game and went to the control panel to open the door, and there stood Tannic, his Saltapeth colleague. He held in his pedalpalps, he carried a six-pack of beer, and spoke with his front legs, scratching and tapping the floor in erratic motions, while the station's translators took over the verbal component for Dan. "Hello, Dan. I've come for our movie night. May I come in?" Tannic asked politely. "Of course. Come in, come in. Let me take those off your palps." Dan took the beers and stepped out of the doorway to allow his eight-legged friend entrance. "Set up your stool next to the sofa," he called out to Tannic, as he ambled across the apartment to the usual comfiest place for him to rest. The station mimicked homes from wherever the occupant was from. Dan and Tannic had agreed that it should always be Dan's place that they hold movie night, after Dan's first step into Tannic's place got him immediately stuck on the web. "This is a strange movie, Dan. It seems to be an Earth car immobile and sideways on the road," Tannic's emotionless station voice queried. Dan placed a soft bag of alcoholic Saltapeth beverage in front of Tannic, who waved a palp in thanks before sinking his fangs into it and injecting a tiny amount of venom into the bag before taking a slurp, as Dan sat next to him on the sofa with a cold beer. "Oh, no, this is a video game, bud. I paused it when I answered the door." "I do not know the phrase, video game." Tannic scratched curiously, fangs still in the bag. "Drinking is easier when you talk with your legs." "Oh, well, I think the movie will have to wait. Let me show you. This is what's called a racing game." Dan grinned as he took up the controller and made sure he had the accelerator trigger fully depressed before he unpaused. The screen roared to life as deep growling engine noises and howling police sirens filled the apartment. Tannic's translator cuff around his left palm vibrated the translation of the noises for him. Tannic raised his palps in alarm. "I recognize that type of car from the action movies. That is a police car. Why is he chasing you?" Dan's grin was slightly manic as he deftly avoided oncoming traffic to build his boost meter. Because at this period in Earth's history, this would be widely illegal. Well, it still would be if anyone had combustion engines anymore. Or cars at all, Dan acknowledged. Tannic placed a concerned palp on Dan's arm. "You're not going to get in trouble, are you, Dan?" "They'll have to catch me first," Dan winked at Tannic. Dan played on, roaring towards the finish line in what would be an absurdly expensive vehicle, and a clear indication of the gluttonous excesses of the 21st century. The gaudy lime green and blue racing stripes paint job scraped off as Dan rammed his car into a police cruiser coming up on his right, causing Tannic's talking to spasm into fright, which the translation software incorrectly judged to be eep, which both in turn surprise and complete lack of emotion. By now, Tannic had completely drained his bag in a prime example of drinking to cope. Dan crossed the finishing line in first place, at which he shot up from the sofa, arms raised in triumph. "Yes, champion!" Dan did a tiny dance of joy. Tannic's fangs chittered against each other in excitement, and his legs asked, "That was exciting. May I see another game?" Dan looked at his friend and rubbed his stubble-covered chin, to which Tannic's translator said in vibrations, thinking, "I have an idea, but you have to promise me to remember that this isn't real, because this can get scary." Dan looked down at Tannic seriously. Pedopalps waved this away dismissively. "Please, Dan. I get told all the time that I'm the one scary to humans. I can cover it in silk." Dan nodded solemnly. "Well, okay then. This is a rare game, and it's called PT." 20 minutes later, Dan was on the communicator to the station's medical department, watching the air vent in the ceiling shaking dramatically. "Hi, I'm in need of a team in my quarters. Address section Traxxas, RK, number 7590. My friend is having a panic attack. Bit of a cross-cultural misunderstanding," Dan explained with a laugh. The station consulate was going to rip him a new one. At least he left out the Lisa is always behind you in the game. His poor book lungs may have popped.